Two great games on the ESPN family of networks. Brian Windhorst, let's start with the Lakers and the Pacers. We thought at one point this could be Luka's debut. It looks like that's going to be Monday, but the Lakers have still been on a tear here.
They've won 10 out of 12 games. They're in a nice little stretch where they have a lot of home games here. They can really build some momentum. They're going to get some work and get ready for Mark Williams and Luka to join them next week. The big thing for them has been they've been playing small and getting great defense. That is not something I foresaw from them. But even without Anthony Davis, they've still been able to get defensive stops, and it's led them to go on a real hot streak. And
that's going to be the task when Luka comes back into the lineup. Obviously, he's had some knocks on him defensively, and then Mark Williams as well. Even though he's manning the middle, he is in Charlotte. That hasn't necessarily always been his strong suit. In the evening game, though, gentlemen, that's where you get the battle of two titans here in the Eastern Conference, the Knicks and the Boston Celtics. What can we learn in this one, UD?
I mean, we talk about two teams who possibly can win. Well, I ain't going to say possibly. These are the teams we're looking at. And you throw Cleveland in there. These are the teams. So this is a game where you want to take personal. You want to set it in the tone. You want to set the tone. You want to set an example. You want to let them know, hey, if we see you in the playoffs, you know what we can do and you know what we're capable of.
I'm looking at the Celtics. They've been playing, kind of playing down to their standards. I think they're just trying to get through the All-Star break. But these are one of those moments as the champion. A team that's trying to come and dethrone you in your conference, you want to make a statement. And that statement is you want to keep doubt that, hey, man, we can't beat those guys in the 7-game series, because that happens, right? Like, you see these teams that's supposed to be a threat to you in the regular season, you want to keep them with having doubt going into the postseason. I think anytime we watch the Celtics and they have this type of matchup, they instantly rise to the occasion, and they have that own switch defensively where they could shut people down.
That's the big key. Both these teams are awesome on offense. The team that plays defense is going to win this game. The team that plays more defense is going to win this series. And the Knicks have been a much better defensive team the second part of the season so far.
It all goes down this evening. We can't wait.
With you on your Saturday morning Sports Center after a dynamic deadline that saw multiple teams trade away their stars. When will we see them in action? Luka expected to make his Lakers debut Monday at home versus the Jazz. One of 3 players with 5 first-team All-NBA selections at 25 years young or younger, along with Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, and KD. Going to be the 5th reigning scoring champion to play for multiple teams in a season. What about AD, the other piece in that blockbuster, expected to make his Mavs debut today, 3 Eastern at home against the Rockets. Davis, the only player averaging 25 points, 2 blocks this season. One of 2 players averaging 1 steal and 2 blocks, along with Victor Wembanyama. And Jimmy Butler expected to make his Warriors debut tonight, 8 Eastern, in a city he's once played in, Chicago. This season, he's averaging his fewest points since 2013-14. Come playoff time, he's one of 10 players to have higher career average in points, boards, assists, steals, and blocks in the playoffs, though compared to the regular season. 9 former or current All-Stars were traded this season, including Luka, AD, and Jimmy Butler. Doncic and Davis were both All-NBA teams last season. According to Elias, this is the first time in league history that 2 reigning All-NBA players were traded for each other mid-season. NBA analyst David Dennis Jr. is back on the program. D, Jimmy Butler says he feels like he's back now after this trade gets new life out there in the Bay. What are your realistic expectations for the Warriors now with Jimmy in their lineup?
Look, as long as Jimmy Butler is a Warrior, they're a team that nobody really wants to play in the playoffs. They're going to be a scary team. We've seen what Jimmy Butler can do. Playoff Jimmy can carry a team to the finals. He's not going to have to carry a team with Stephen Curry there, because Stephen Curry can carry a team to the finals. They're going to be scary once you get to the playoffs. Now, the question is, what can all the things that need to go right for them to get to the playoffs, right? Jimmy Butler needs to be healthy. Him and Draymond need to play together. They need to be able to space the floor with some of that lack of shooting. But if you have a lineup, a closing lineup with Steph, whichever shooting guard they have in that lineup, Jimmy Butler, Kuminga, and Draymond, that is a tough lineup that you don't want to face at the end of games, and they will be a team that can take anybody to 6 or 7 games.
Okay. It's going to be some big personalities in those Warriors practices with Draymond and Jimmy, something certainly to pay attention to. What about in Dallas? Anthony Davis scheduled to make his Mavericks debut, 3 Eastern against the Rockets. What's this going to look like in your estimation, this AD and Kyrie dynamic, D?
All right, so ironically, AD and Kyrie is probably going to look a lot like Kyrie and Luka did when they first teamed up. Did you mention, as you know, you may remember, they didn't make the playoffs when they first because it took a little while for them to figure out ball handling, who was going to take the shots and things like that. Now, I don't think this team is going to fare as poorly as that Luka and Kyrie team did, but I do think it's going to take a little time for them to figure this out. Kyrie's not a traditional point guard. He's not a facilitator, the guy that AD kind of needs and kind of plays with. AD is going to be playing with some bigs who do not space the floor out. So this offense is going to need a little bit of work. Defensively, yes, that's why you bring AD. Defensively, they're going to be hard to score on with him and some of those bigs. But offensively, I think that there's going to be a lot of work, and they don't have a lot of time to figure it out this season.
Sure. The Mavericks currently, right now, 8th in the Western Conference.
It's with our NBA analyst, David Dennis Jr., with us this morning on SportsCenter. Spurs lose, okay, but this Wemby-Fox duo is going to be fun. What are you seeing from them early on, David?
Yeah, it's not every day that I come on and sing the praises of a team that just lost to the Charlotte Hornets, but I'm going to give it a try. What we saw last night from that Spurs team, yes, it was a slow start. I think Wemby's still getting over that bug that he had, which contributed to that slow start. But that fourth quarter really showed us what we can expect from this team and why De'Aaron Fox got brought on. This dude is one of the best clutch players in the league, and they came in down 11 in the fourth, and he took over while Wemby was cold, shooting 1 for 9 for 3. That is really why you have a guy like Fox, and that's what elevates the ceiling in the playoffs of a team like the Spurs. Beyond that, the pick and roll, they're still figuring that out, and it has been dynamic every time. They just won a game against Atlanta using that pick and roll. They got Wemby to the foul line. Once they figure that out 100%, this team is going to be pretty close to unstoppable.
You think we're not going to have a segment with David Dennis Jr. and talk about the glow up in the background? Like suddenly you're in like a furniture showroom, man. What happened?
Venetian,
There's
maybe?
a piano in the background?
I'm down in New Orleans. I changed the scenery. I'm at my godmother's house. I'm at my aunt's house hanging out. This is her place. Shout out to her for letting me use the space. It's clearly her glow up and not mine.
The Spurs had a glow up, and now David Dennis Jr. does as well. You can watch those two on the Spurs as San Antonio.
At the trade deadline could shake all of these standings up. So let's start with the team that's currently on the outside looking in, the Warriors. UD, you know what a focus Jimmy Butler can bring. He's slated to debut in Chicago on Saturday. Are the Warriors better than they were 2 days ago with him?
Hell yes. This guy has a lot left in the tank. He's the ultimate competitor. I know it's going to take some time to work out the pace and space that they need to play with. But yes, this is definitely going to work out for them. But I think where they'll see it the most is in the playoffs. But unfortunately, they're in the 11th spot. They got to get up there to see Jimmy Buckets go to work.
They call him Playoff Jimmy for a reason. Also on Saturday, the expectation is Anthony Davis is going to make his debut for the Mavericks against the Rockets. Big perk, does AD give Dallas the highest ceiling of any team in Texas? I'll give you that qualifier.
You damn right they do. And listen, stop with the death threats. Nico don't deserve that. You're talking about Anthony Davis, in my opinion, one of the most skilled power forwards to ever play the damn game. In his prime, can affect both ends of the floor, and he's going back to his natural position of playing the power forward. Him and Kyrie Irving, two-man game is going to be special. And by the way, he did win the championship with Jay Kidd down in L.A. when he was assistant coach.
Nico Harrison did say it was a win-now move. All signs pointing to AD playing Saturday. Luka Doncic trending toward Monday to make his debut. Brian, LeBron says it won't be a challenging fit, but what say you?
It will be a bit of a challenge at times, but I want to talk about two things with Luka: ceiling and margin for error. When you have Luka Doncic on this team, their ceiling is raised and their margin for error gets wider. They will be so dynamic offensively that any defensive issues they have will be less of a problem, and you will see LeBron and Luka play together. I'm not saying on Monday, but you will see them learn to thrive because they're just too good to stop them.
Well, these three players have combined for 20 All-Star appearances, so it's safe to say we've never seen a shuffle of talent at the top like we did at this trade deadline. I hope that Shams is getting a nap here somewhere. But when we talk about the immediate future here, Perk, what is the move that is going to have the biggest impact immediately?
It's going to be the Dallas Mavericks. Anthony Davis getting added to that team with the way Jay Kidd has been coaching. Again, that duo with him and Kyrie is going to be special, right? It's not hard to make that work. And then they have the pieces. You have athletic bigs and Daniel Gafford and Lively. They're going to be a force on the defensive side of things. It's going to be special to watch.
I'm with Perk on that. I'm a defensive guy. I barely got any shots. I barely got any shots unless it was 9-1. Here, get it up. So I'm a defensive guy. I'm going with the defense. And one thing I do know about when you make moves, especially in the season, the offense might take a while. But if you can get stops, your offense will eventually catch up. And I think these guys are going to get stops.
The reason they selected Anthony Davis as the guy they wanted for Luka was because they think that trade can help them win the championship this year. They think they are now big enough with their bigs to go against Memphis, to go against OKC, to go against Houston. They think they've got an advantage. They think that they can get up there and beat them. That's their look. What I will say is this. Tomorrow in Dallas, and maybe the next couple of games on this homestand, I'm not sure what the mood in the arena is going to be. There is a anger against this franchise right now. It's not at the players.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be like in that building
Win and
tomorrow.
cure everything. Win cures everything.
You're probably right.
They go on a 10-game winning streak. They're going to shut up, and then they're going to be coming to the games with the AD jerseys.
And look, you go out and get AD, you trade Luka, I get it, right? International superstar, but you know who made that transition easy for Nico to make? Kyrie Irving. If Kyrie Irving, he's been the ultimate leader. He's been special in the Dallas Maverick uniform. And I think they said, hey, we're ready to put the ball in your hands and let you do you. You are playing at an all-NBA level. We get AD in here with the P.J. Washington and the other guys that they have, Klay Thompson around them. They're going to make it.
And another thing, man, I'm with you on that. Leave Nico alone, because to make a move that big, a couple other people had to sign off on that. So why he's the only one getting all the
My
flack for that?
hope is that it will not be
off on
directed at Anthony Davis. So it's really unclear how he is going to be received by this
I've
franchise.
never quite seen a situation like what we're going to see unfold tomorrow in Dallas. I can't really predict it. I hope you're right, UD. It's just the first part of the game.
Well, folks, it looks like the Dallas Mavericks ain't mincing words when it comes to Luka Doncic. The front office made it clear. They were ready to move on from their superstar, and the whole basketball world just about lost its mind over it. Now, why would a team let go of a generational talent like Luka? Turns out it ain't just about basketball. It's about long-term strategy, financial risks, and, well, let's be real, a whole lot of behind-the-scenes tension. The Mavs had their eyes set on Anthony Davis, hoping to bring in a different kind of playmaker. But the real talk is that Dallas had concerns about signing Luka to that massive Supermax deal. With injuries starting to pile up, they feared ending up in a situation like the 76ers are dealing with Joel Embiid, stuck with a superstar who ain't always available when it matters most. On top of that, there were whispers about Luka's defense not being up to championship standards, which only added fuel to the fire. Then there were those eyebrow-raising comments from Mavs owner Patrick Dumont. He didn't call Luka out by name, but boy, the message was loud and clear. Dumont told the Dallas Morning News, "The greats, Jordan, Bird, Kobe, Shaq, had one goal: win. They worked like crazy every single day to make it happen. If you ain't got that mentality, you don't belong here." Now, you don't have to be a detective to read between the lines. Dallas wanted a culture shift, and they weren't convinced Luka fit the mold. But here's what makes this whole thing even wilder. Luka didn't fire back. Nope, the man took the high road. When he had his first press conference with the Lakers, he was asked about the noise coming from Dallas. Instead of throwing shade, he kept it classy, focused on his future, and let his game do the talking. That kind of composure? That's rare in today's NBA. Now, the big question is, did the Mavericks make a colossal mistake? Swapping out a generational talent ain't something you just shrug off. Look at teams that lost their stars in the past. How many actually got better? The Lakers sure seem thrilled to have Luka, and if he goes on to win a ring in LA, Dallas fans might never forgive the front office for this one. But hey, maybe the Mavs know something we don't. Maybe this gamble pays off. Or maybe, just maybe, this will go down as one of the biggest blunders in basketball history. What do y'all think? Did Dallas just hand the Lakers another dynasty? Or was it the right move to cut ties before things got worse?